A familiar name is resurfacing in Minnesota Vikings circles and is turning heads, not just for who he is, but also for what his potential return could signal about the team's mindset heading into 2025. Meanwhile, an unexpected rookie is quietly generating buzz during training camp. A fan-favorite veteran is showing off what could be a preview of the team's new jerseys. And the wide receiver room is shaping up to be one of the most unpredictable battles on the roster. If you thought the offseason was winding down, here's your wake-up call. Something is brewing in Minnesota that could reshape the depth chart in ways few could have predicted. But first, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more news from your favorite team. Let's start with the cornerback position, arguably the biggest question mark still facing the Vikings. The spotlight has shifted to a name fans know well, Stephon Gilmore. After a 2024 campaign that started strong but faded down the stretch, Gilmore is now a free agent, and there's growing chatter, including from team insider Patrick Seidman, that the door might still be open for his return. The reasoning? Gilmore wouldn't be coming back to play every snap, but rather to offer steady veteran support behind Byron Murphy Jr. and Isaiah Rodgers. Last year, Gilmore finished with a 63.9 overall PFF grade, 93rd out of 222 eligible corners. His run defense was a bright spot, 27th in the league, but his coverage grade of 60.4 left much to be desired. Still, as a CB3 or rotational piece, there's value. And with questions surrounding Mekhi Blackmon's recovery from a torn ACL, uncertainty around undrafted corners Dwight McGlothern and Najee Thompson, and Jeff Okudah's inconsistency, a steady veteran presence might be exactly what's needed. Seidman's take is clear. Wait until August. Let camp unfold. See what you really have in Blackmon, McGlothern, Vaughn, and Okudah. Then make the call. If Gilmore's still in shape and willing to accept a reduced role, he could offer both stability and mentorship without breaking the bank or stunting younger players' growth. But that's just one storyline. Over on offense and special teams, something surprising is happening. Silas Bolden, an undrafted rookie receiver and return specialist from Texas, is making a serious push to crack the final 53-man roster. According to Alec Lewis's latest roster projection, Bolden isn't just a camp body, he's listed as a potential roster lock, ahead of veterans like Rondale Moore. How? Simple: special teams. The Vikings' return game has lacked explosion for years. In 2023, it was a rotation of players like Ty Chandler, Brandon Powell, and Jalen Nailor, and the results were underwhelming. Nailor even had multiple muffed punts. Bolden, meanwhile, made national noise with a 75-yard punt return touchdown during the college football playoff, showing the kind of north-south burst Minnesota simply hasn't had in recent memory. He's competing against Moore, who's still recovering from a serious knee injury, and Tim Jones, a special teams ace known more for his work as a gunner than his return ability. Bolden's path is narrow, but clear. If he pops during preseason games, especially in the return game, he's got a real shot to make this team. And for a team that needs juice in special teams and cheap playmakers at the back end of the roster, Bolden might be the answer. Meanwhile, there's a subtle shift happening at the top of the wide receiver room, too. Everyone knows the big four: Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Jalen Nailor, and Ty Felton, are locks. But what happens if Addison misses time due to suspension, as Alec Lewis hinted could happen? That opens the door for Nailor, who's added muscle this offseason and is entering a contract year. Felton, meanwhile, was drafted with one of the Vikings' few picks, a clear sign of how highly the team views him. But the real intrigue lies in who earns that sixth spot. Bolden versus Moore might come down to health, upside, and special teams impact. And while the roster battles unfold, something else is catching fans' eyes: a potential new helmet design. Isaiah Rodgers was recently spotted working out in a matte black Vikings helmet, paired with all-black Vikings gear. The look sparked immediate speculation. Could Minnesota finally be introducing black alternate uniforms? Fans have been clamoring for an all-black set to pair with the Winter Warrior white alternates. Even Seidman and producer Dylan joked about how teams, like the Lions, just seem to play meaner and faster in black. Rodgers' Instagram post wasn't official, but it certainly raised eyebrows. Could this be a subtle teaser? Or just a personal gear choice? Either way, fan response has been loud. Black uniforms are in demand, and the hype is building. So let's bring this all together. Stephon Gilmore could return. Silas Bolden might leapfrog a veteran. Isaiah Rodgers could be teasing a future uniform drop. And the wide receiver room is far from settled, especially if Addison's status changes. These aren't headline-grabbing, blockbuster moves. They're the quiet shifts that shape a team's depth, identity, and resilience across a long season. Now I want to know what you think. Would you sign Stephon Gilmore as CB3 depth in August? Does Silas Bolden deserve a real shot at the 53-man roster? And are you buying into the idea of an all-black Vikings uniform set? Drop your answers in the comments. And as training camp draws closer, the urgency to finalize those depth decisions only increases. Because for a team like the Vikings, sitting on the edge between contending and rebuilding, depth isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. That's what makes the possible return of Stephon Gilmore more than just a nostalgic headline. He's not coming back to be the star, he's coming back to be the safeguard. The mentor. The veteran who steps in when a young DB gets hurt or overwhelmed on game day. And for a team that plays aggressive, physical defense under Brian Flores, that kind of fallback option could be the difference in 2 or 3 games. And that could be the difference between playoffs and watching from home. Then there's Silas Bolden, the kind of camp story fans love. Undrafted. Under the radar. But suddenly, he's making real noise, not because of what he says, but because of what he shows on the field. Preseason will be everything for him. If he can flash even once or twice on a kick or punt return, he might force the coach's hands. Especially in a room where no one has truly seized the return job and one of his main competitors, Rondale Moore, is still recovering from injury. And don't overlook the psychological factor. A young, fast return man who can flip field position gives your offense confidence and your defense room to breathe. It's hidden yardage that wins games. The Vikings haven't had that kind of spark in years. Maybe, just maybe, Bolden can be that guy. As for Isaiah Rodgers and the all-black helmet, whether it was a teaser or just a personal touch, it reignited a conversation that has real traction among the fan base. Fans want the team to evolve visually just as much as they do on the field. New uniforms, new attitude, new energy. And honestly, when you see a guy flying around in matte black with dark purple trim, it just feels like intimidation. Like identity. And if Rodgers, who's expected to start opposite Byron Murphy Jr., ends up playing with that same swagger in regular season games, those photos might age like prophecy. So now it's up to you, Vikings Nation. Would you bring back Gilmore for depth and leadership? Is Silas Bolden worth the risk for upside in the return game? And are we finally ready to see the Vikes suit up in all black and embrace a darker, meaner image? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Give me an S4 sign if you're in on Gilmore, or a P4 pass. Y4 yes or N4 no on Bolden making the 53. And if you're with us on the Black Helmet movement, drop that SKOL loud and proud. And if you love staying on top of everything happening with the Minnesota Vikings, from roster rumors to uniform leaks to camp battles, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our canal, and activate the notification bell. Go Vikings!